Do the actions that you take in most safety situations apply to bikes across the board, or would you have different actions to take on, say, a 250 versus a Goldwing?
The actions, the basic approach, skill-wise, is pretty much the same.
Okay.
It's the understanding that with a larger bike, that your braking distance is going to be increased. Your turning radius is, especially if you're riding a sport bike. Sport bikes don't turn as sharp as cruisers. So adjusting for slower speeds is a skill that you practice. Anybody could do 70 miles or 80 miles an hour in a straight line with no problem. Moving around at a slow rate of speed and moving around on corners where a lot of accidents happen, that's where the skills really starts helping you.
Okay. When a person is in a situation where they're coming up fast on something on their bike, traffic just stops automatically, and you realize that you're going to brake and the bike's going to come out from under you, there's a general thought that goes around that you should lay the bike down. Is that smart?
Most rider coaches around the country, when they hear that phrase, they just shudder. There's a cold shaft that goes down their spine. The thought process of when you hear, I had no choice but to lay the bike down, usually means they did something incorrect. The logic of having a motorcycle sliding on its metal and plastic, you have no control of it. Having a motorcycle that's sliding possibly on top of you is going to hurt, and you have no control of it.
Absolutely.
This is the skill portion. Learning how to brake or swerve properly does not guarantee that you'll not have impact.
Right.
But it seems more logical to have a motorcycle that's upright and doing the best you can to control it than having it sliding down the road with you possibly on it or it going over you or whatever may happen.
Right.
And in the worst case scenario, perhaps you minimize the impact that may happen. Learning how, there's tons of information out there that shows motorcyclists have a partial fault in accidents, although a driver may have initiated the process by running a stop sign or pulling out in front. But when you see a motorcycle crash 50, 60 feet before the car and they never hit the car, that kind of tells you they did something wrong.
Right.
Where that distance could have been used to hopefully stop safer.
And probably panic was involved.
You're right. That's where, as much as we and myself say, go out, learn the skills, practicing them is the big thing. Because it's a constant involvement in learning how to ride a motorcycle. You have to keep those skills sharp for when you need them.
Right.
If you just take the course and you don't practice, all you're really doing is getting a possible insurance reduction, and you're not gaining anything out of it.
Right. And somewhere along the way, you're going to run into the first. The first front flat, the first back flat,
Sure.
the first time you drop your bike.
First time you ride in the rain, everybody panics.
You hit the grass and slide, and whatever kind of different things. And knowing in advance that one of the key elements is keeping your cool and your balance and your control of the bike.
Right.
And then you can, when you're in that state of mind, you can more easily grab back into the Rolodex and go, okay, I know I need a split second to figure out what to do, but you can do it.
All right, that's one thing where the experience side will help you. Though you practice your skills, nobody's really going to go practicing trying to come to a quick stop on sand or grass or in mud. We're not going to do that. We don't want to take that chance of crashing our bike just to practice. But when you're in those conditions, from the more you ride, the more chances you're going to be in those elements.
Right.
You get that little bit of experience, and you back it up with some skills that you've practiced, you have a better chance of coming out of it.
In addition to taking care of ourselves and being responsible on the road, we have accountability. And I believe, as a motorcyclist, not only do I have an accountability to myself and to the public at large, but to the motorcycle community itself. We, unfortunately, are looked on upon by the public in one of two ways. Generally, it's, those dirty bikers. Or it's, isn't it nice that they've gotten all together to help out somebody in the community because there's 1,000 of them together riding somewhere. And there's certain people that are going to just think whatever they're going to think. However, we can make sure that people don't look at us in a negative light by not doing certain things. Hey, you know what? If you want to do a wheelie on your bike, go down to the parkway down by the beach when there's no one there and knock yourself out.
Right.
Don't get hurt. God bless you. But if you're going to do it down the LIE,
that's just
I don't
insane.
care what kind of bike you're on. Every biker now is an idiot.
Right. We have to represent ourselves as in the sport. We're a small percentage of the vehicles out there overall. And like you said, there's a lot of people that just consider you're on a motorcycle, you're an outlaw type of person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the media, especially the press, likes to kind of focus a little bit on the negative stuff, the people that are in police chases, the people that are doing wheelies, the crashes.
Right.
As much as a lot of motorcycle organizations, clubs, and groups do great work and raise a lot of money for charities and do a lot of good stuff, it's not as exciting. It doesn't sell as many papers.
Right. The picture isn't as good as seeing a bike splatter on the ground.
So the better we can do to make ourselves look better, it makes the sport look better.
Right. Right. And if we're going to bring more people into the sport, we should at least bring them in with open arms and open minds.
Right. We want to bring new people into riding. That's the key with the motorcycling, to keep it growing. Right now, the average age of a rider is approximately 48 years old. Mm-hmm. There are still a lot of new riders coming in, but the big abundance of us are the older riders.
Right. And just because we're not doing 100 miles an hour, don't mean that we're not cool.
Right. Yes.
And just because you kids got your fast, cool-ass bikes, doesn't mean you have to go out there and try and kill yourselves either.
Right.
We're talking to Don Gomo on Plugged Into Long Island on 106.1 BLI and 102.3 WBAB. It's Fingers hanging out with Don. And Don is a MSF rider coach for the New York State. You can check out more information at nysmsp.org and check out his column in American Iron Magazine. He does the safety skills column. And if you want to touch base, can I give out your email address?
Certainly.
Your email address for Don is gomotorcycling@gmail.com. And you can check out his website as well as gomotorcycling.org, which is in the process of being refurbished, I understand.
Yes, it is.
So I can't thank you enough for coming down. As a person in a car, what tips do you have for watching out for us? We're watching out for each other. We're watching out for the cars. How does a car, somebody who's driving right now to church or something?
A couple of big things. When a car, if you're a car driver at an intersection, look twice before you pull out. If you do see a motorcycle, wait that extra second or two to make sure that you know what they're doing. If they're going to turn, if they're going to go straight, make sure you know what they're going to do.
Yeah, don't just think that you can hammer the gas and get out in front of them, because you don't want to be that guy.
Because of the depth perception, once again, you may not be able to judge how fast the rider is actually going, and you may think you have time to pull out, and then you don't. Check your blind spots. We're smaller in profile.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I tell riders to try and stay out of cars' blind spots, if we're in heavy traffic, that's kind of hard to do. Look over your shoulder. We have a tendency just to look in the mirror and move over. Well, there might be a motorcycle there. We're
and
small.
Just because you don't hear us doesn't mean that we're not there.
Right.
You're in there with the car radio cranking, the kids in the back, you got the DVD player on, and God forbid you're texting. If you're still texting while you're driving, go to textingawareness.org and find out why you should stop.
Yes.
Not just about us. There's kids getting off of school buses. There's all kinds of stuff going on the road. Long Island is a very densely populated place.
Yes.
And we need to watch out for each other, because it's a great place to live, but it's a lousy place to ride a motorcycle.
It is challenging, and I commute on a regular basis throughout Long Island and into the city on motorcycle, and whether you're in a car or on a motorcycle, you always see these other people in the car next to you. They're texting. They're eating a full course breakfast in the morning.
Reading the paper.
They're shaving. They're reading the paper. They're putting makeup on. So our biggest problem as riders is the unaware driver.
Yeah.
And those unaware drivers are bad for other drivers too. They're sooner or later, they're just a time bomb.
That's right. If you can, put a sticker on your car. Let people know that it is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. It is the month of May. You got all month to let everybody in your neighborhood know watch out for the motorcycles, and they'll watch out for us.
And keep us in mind all year round. Riders do ride all year, but we're getting into the season, and we're coming out in full force now. Warm weather brings us out.
That's right. And you know what? If you see a bike run, the run is probably doing something nice for somebody in the community. So give it the extra 5 minutes out of your day to let it pass. Don't try and shoot through it, please.
Yes.
I do a run on New Year's Day for the Cold Finger Run. We do that for children with cancer. We do the breast cancer run for the Sticky Finger Run in August. And I can't tell you how many times, no matter all the planning, all the police in the world, some jackass along the way wants to get in that run.
Yeah,
with his car.
And it's because they're not thinking. And the other side, for us riders, if you see a car moving into your group, let him in. You're not going to beat a car.
Yeah, just let him go and do what he's got to do. Slow down, and just,
right.
No, we don't want anybody getting hurt.
We have to do this together between car drivers, motorcycle riders. We have to adjust. We ask a little more for the car drivers, but we have to be aware of everything that's happening out there.
That's right. Don, thank you very much for coming down and speaking with us on Plugged Into Long Island. It's 106.1 BLI and 102.3 WBAB. My name is Fingers. May, Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Enjoy it, promote it, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.